first I said that I love you when you ain't say that shit back. It's kinda hard to just trust you when both your feelings don't match. Got me showing less emotions, I don't wanna get attached. Once I give you my word, I swear it ain't no going back. Once I give you my heart, you better keep that shit.
Peace, kings. Peace, queens. Peace, pod squad. Peace, replays. Peace, everybody up in the clouds. Make sure y'all hit that like on the way in. And during today's conversation, if something happens or if something resonates with you, whether that be you disagree or agree, but you feel like it resonated with something in your spirit, go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe as well if you're new. Today's conversation, welcome to Tears' World. Today we're going to have a conversation from a black man's perspective. Today's topic is what's happening to black men and their mental health. Black men have long been plagued by mental health issues that go unnoticed or unchecked by the people around them or the society at large. Black men are often told to be strong and to check your emotions and don't be weak. There are several things that lead to the current mental health crisis in black men. And I felt compelled to share my top 6 things that I've seen that are contributing to black men and their mental health decline. I'll be speaking in generalities during this discussion, as I know that there are outliers and exceptions to every rule, and there probably will be exceptions to things that I'll present. And my goal is not to specify any individual person's experience, but more to speak in overarching themes that I've observed. I'm gonna put up a quick timer real quick, a quick countdown so I can grab my water and snack. And when I return, we about to get this convo in. You can use this time to hit the restroom or grab your own libation or snack of choice. And make sure, again, you hit that like button.
Okay, I'm back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. Back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a dream. I am not friendly, I came for the paper, little baby, don't get it confused. I see them paying to play, they be paying for pussy, my nigga, I'm paying my dues. They cannot see me unless I'm on TV in times when they happen to turn on the news. I am not worried about shit but the money, cause you cannot buy shit with all of them views. I've been on 10 like 4th grade, same nigga but I'm more paid. Lame niggas throwing more shade, but you know it don't faze me. I'm blowing out gas to the hole with Hazy, with a new chick cause my old bitch crazy. Just a young player that the west side made me, but how could you blame me and how could you tame me? You can't pop in that pussy, you claim you a saint. Do what they can and they hate what they ain't, but I am the greatest, that ain't for debate. Raising the stakes and I'm eating them too. Hitters on deck, what you need them to do. Fuck all that talking, I leave it to you, cause I gotta go, got a meeting at 2. Tell me why all of the shit that you saying don't never match up with that shit that you do. We mobbing and thugging, you bitching and bugging, there's nothing that we got in common. I've been out grinding and hustling, investing this paper, got tired of eating that ramen. All of my music be heat, I ain't missing a beat, I've been blessed with impeccable timing. Watch all them people who friendly, it turn into envy whenever they see that you shining. Okay, I'm back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. Back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a New life is something like a dream. New life is something like a Blue faces busting on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream. I'm back out fresh on the scene. Franchise best on the team. Blue faces busting out the scene. New life is something like a dream.
get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it, then I'm never going back. Get it, then I'm never going back. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it, then I'm never going back. Get it, then I'm never going back. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it, then I'm never going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it, then I'm never going. I get to it off the runway. Different incomes, not one way. Living life on a one way. I knew this would happen someday. You can ask my day one day. Cloudy days turn to sun rays. Only way to way up way. Know my way, know my feng shui. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it, then I'm never going back. Get it, then I'm never going back. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it, then I'm never going back. Get it, then I'm never going back. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it, then I'm never going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it, then I'm never going. Different summer, different car keys. I'm the life of the party. Might buy a bike like a Harley. Totally do so gnarly. God got me, can't harm me. I got armor and an army. Battle scars, battle smartly. Just forever like a Sharpie. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it, that I'm never going back. Get it, that I'm never going back. I get to it first, I got you mad. I guess that when I get to it last. Get it, that I'm never going back. Get it, that I'm never going back. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Get it, that I'm never going up, going up.
Peace, peace, peace. We back. Hope everybody got what they needed to get ready for this discussion. Peace, King Rodner. Peace, Queen Can't Hide. Always good to see y'all in the building. Yeah, man. So again, my people, these are 6 things that have been gathered and observed pretty much by me just being a black man and observing my fellow black kings throughout all walks of life. If you have any thoughts or opinions during this discussion, even if they are in disagreement with mine, please share them in the chat or join the panel in the pin link so that you can have your voice heard in this discussion. I'm gonna try to be as brief as I can because I don't like wasting people's time, but I will allow the convo to build to whatever time frame that it naturally goes. So with that being said, these are in no particular order, but they do reflect the basic issues that I feel black men face that contribute to us dealing with our mental health decline and kind of what's seeming to be the epidemic that not a lot of people are talking about in mainstream news. So, number 1, again, these are not in any particular order. Number 1, black men are constantly dealing with pressure to provide while society values that quality less and less. All right, so what I mean by that is black men, we always grow up from day one, most black men, especially after the late 70s, 80s, the drug epidemic and the war on drugs and the extreme criminalization of a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? You saw an uptick of black men just kind of leaving the household. So you had a lot of broken homes. So a lot of us black men, especially us 80s babies, we grew up as a product of single parent households or raised by people who were not necessarily our fathers. And being that, it was often a pressure from a very early age for black men for us to be the providers of the house. You know what I'm saying? I saw a lot of me and my fellow young brothers when we were like 7 to 8 years old, we would get told, you know what I'm saying, you the man of the house now, you got to take care of things, you know what I'm saying, you got to help. And that's a lot of pressure to be ingrained in a young king's mind. You feel me? So there's this pressure that we're always told we have to be the providers. And then you fast forward that to even nowadays in society, you look, we're considered a bag now. You know what I mean? A lot of our younger queens are now moving to the man got to have a bag. He got to be able to do this, that, and the third for me. Now, while at the same time we're told we need to be providers of the home, we're also being told that the actions that allow for that are often unwanted or less than desirable, i.e., if you got to work a lot of hours to make the check that's larger than your wife or girlfriend's because you told you must be a provider, then a lot of times women will complain about the lack of time or availability that you have to give them. Or they'll still complain about the money not being where they want it, even if you're making what used to be the bar or the standard. The message that it gives us men is that, you know, you can work your ass to make money and then have that effort and money devalued. It's basically like a dissonance that we are always having to move in. And at the end of the day, it can lead us to being constantly in a mode of stress and in a conflict. And that pressure also, you know, that pressure to provide, it also leads to us kind of prioritizing material provisions over actual emotional displays of love. So you often see black men really good. We're really good at giving things. Peace, HM. Peace, King. But yeah, we're often good at giving things. So you see a lot of times in the black community, you'll see a black father who will shower his kids with material things. They'll have all the newest games, the freshest J's, the hottest designers on, but they're not always necessarily giving them that time or that emotional, you know, them hugs, them kisses, them pull-ups, and hey man, let me talk to you. Go ride with daddy real quick. You know what I mean? Those type of moments that really stick out with the kid more than those material things, because the material things gonna fade, the kid will grow out of those things. But you know what I mean, it's those moments. And a lot of times that mentality comes from the man thinking that as long as I'm providing, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But we're not always taught about the other piece of that. Society doesn't always value or you know what I'm saying, give credence to us or lend to us developing the skill to do those other things that are actually more important than the actual financial piece. Another piece of that is also when you look at today's dynamic of a lot of younger relationships, because women, and again, this goes back to the dynamic of, you know, black men leaving the households a lot back in the day, you know, whether that be through their own choices or through, you know, systems that were put in place. You have a system now where a lot of women have been also at the same time, we're still being ingrained under the old ways of like, we have to be the provider. Women are having this dual socialization where they're being taught that yes, the man has to be the provider, but you don't need the man. So what happens is, and a lot of times nowadays, what happens is it leads to this weird dynamic in the household where no matter what the man can do financially, the woman still feels like a lot of times it's hard for them to value the man because they've been taught so long that the man is not that important. They're a side piece to their overall vision, not necessarily a necessity. You know what I mean? So like it leads to this dynamic in the household where we're not necessarily feeling valued all the time. And I think this is where you see a rise in at least what I've noticed in a lot of younger relationships, especially, but just in general, you see a lot of women kind of disrespecting men and demasculating them and kind of putting them down as men and taking shots at their manhood a lot more than what I used to see when I was growing up. When I was growing up, it was a lot more respectful conversation between men and women. And I think that comfort to do that comes from the fact that over time, society has demasculated and devalued the black man to the point where we're often not seen as a valuable piece to the puzzle or a necessary piece to the puzzle. You have women out there that's like, I'll just do it by myself. You literally have women now who are like, I'll just run the whole family by myself. I'll do in vitro and have my own family without a man and just do my own thing. And I feel like that goes to a few dynamics, but in general, because of that dynamic, it leads to a lot of times the black man feeling devalued, despite us being told we have to be the providers. And then when we are that, we're often not necessarily seen as important still. Number two on the list of things that are leading to the black men just kind of having a decline in mental health. We're expected to now all of a sudden be emotionally vulnerable and gentle while still maintaining our image and our status as being masculine and tough. So now today's society, you know, we're woke and we have all of these new terms we have to use. And we have all of these new groups that, you know what I'm saying, are fighting for these I don't know what to call it, but like, terminology respect, like call me these pronouns and stuff, and that's cool. So now, everybody's telling the black man, we have to be emotionally vulnerable and open up and share your feelings and show people how you feel. But then at the same time, as soon as you do, society will laugh at you or clown you or, call you demasculating names. Like I've seen people in one breath say black men are too tough, they too aggressive, they toxic, it's this toxic masculinity, blah, blah, blah. But then on the other hand, as soon as you see a black man crying, it becomes a laughable meme. Like Michael Jordan broke down and cried. Niggas laughed at him. Will Smith cried, laughed at him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost this weird dichotomy in society of like, be soft, but if you are, we're gonna call you a pussy. So it's like, well, what exactly does it look like then for me to be vulnerable and still not have society treat me as less than when I show that vulnerability? You know what I mean? You have men having mental breakdowns and society clowns them and puts them on World Star as opposed to like actually, like, you know what I'm saying, checking in, like, what's wrong with you, bro? You okay? How can we help you? It's more of like, let's laugh at them. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain moments that are funny, but even in real life, like, you know what I'm saying, it kind of like when you see somebody fall, even if you chuckle because the fall look funny, usually the human thing to do is to follow that immediately up with, hey man, you all right? Can I help you? Let me help you up real quick. Let me make sure you are. Are you okay? You know what I'm saying? And I think we've kind of lost that piece to it. It's like, be soft, but when you soft, we gonna clown the fuck out you. Right, Tyrese, what more do you want from me? Became a whole thing. And then that man, we don't know what that man going through. Like, to make, like, you got to think about it. Like, if we are seen as these super predators by other races, we're seen as these supposedly mandingos by our queens and all of this, and we supposed to be super tough and blah, blah, blah. Cool. So we tough then. Then what do you think would gotta be going on with that tough of a man to make a man show and be that outwardly put himself on the line like that, to be outwardly emotional like that? Like, you just gotta think about, like, for a tough person that we supposed to see these strong people, like we supposed to be these strong people. And y'all the kings. All right, we the kings. And then as soon as we cry, like, think about what got to be out there, what we got to be going through on a day-to-day basis. We got to be them piled up on our spirit to make us break like that. But society won't see that. Society will just, clown you. You know what I'm saying? We taught to be gentle with each other and be emotionally vulnerable. And, you know what I'm saying, that's healthy, but the expectations don't change on us. So it leads us to, either we overcompensate and become overly tough when there we are super aggressive and we out here, ready to snap off, fight, and shoot everybody. Or we go the opposite way when there we too soft and we done lost all ability to have backbone. And I think that's why you're seeing the loss of just the normal man that's not like too much of nothing. Like, you just kind of even and can kind of fall into whatever's needed at the time. You know what I'm saying? We missing the Swiss Army knife of a brother out here these days. It's a lot more just, I'm either all the way machete or I'm all the way butter knife. You know what I mean? And it got to be a middle ground. But because of the way society has started to set up, the way we're supposed to interact, it leaves a lot of black men left in this weird limbo where we're often not sure of where we fit in that. Number 3, black men, we often lack the appropriate support system and friend groups to deal with stress. I look back just over my life and just, and discussing with other brothers, like, many black men friend groups emphasize like going to get women, smoking, drinking, or some other avoidance strategy when they face with their friend stress. It's like, you know what I'm saying, your boy be heartbroken over something that's going on. Hey man, come on, let's go out. Come on, let's go get drunk. Let's go smoke this reefer. Let's go to the club and see ladies. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's go do everything, but actually, like, let's sit down. let me talk it through with you and see how we can find some resolution to your actual issue. Because when we come back from the club, or when we come back from the bar, or after the blunt out, you still gonna be hurting, bro. Like, there's a lack of, because we're told we gotta be so tough. It's almost like black men are scared to be there for their brothers because they scared it makes them look a certain way. Now, what I will say is, this is something that I see the younger generation getting better at. They're getting better at kind of being there for their brothers and like really riding for their family structure. But it's just starting. There's still a large group of dudes that's like, they're almost scared to sit there and have a cry with their bro, or be like, man, I got you. Yo, just talk to me, bro. Go ahead and vent that shit out. Hey, man, let me help you get the help you need. Because they scared that they'll make them look soft. We'll rather make jokes out of the shit than actually, you know what I'm saying, help a brother. And then also, man, to be honest, man, black men, we often employ a crab in a barrel mentality toward one another that kind of leads us to avoid showing vulnerability to our brothers, because we're scared that we're going to get scammed, exploited, bullied, betrayed, or set back merely for becoming more successful at something. So, you know, you can see it in the black Hollywood mentality of stand-up comedy of, you know, it can only be one brother that make it. And when that brother make it, instead of us being there for him and supporting them, and then, you know what I'm saying, rallying around the next group, we'd rather just block out and, you know, let me push the next nigga down because I gotta hold my moment in the sun. Gotta make it about me. You know what I'm saying? You even see it in the YouTube sectors where, like, instead of, like, it's rare you see groups of black men that are just all together. And it doesn't end in like, oh man, he fucked them over, or he had to talk shit about him. Like, from the Corey Holcomb show to, you know what I'm saying, the Kwame Brown, the Hassan Campbell, to like all of these, every time it's a major black figure in these YouTube sectors, it always ends in some fuck shit because the black men end up getting jealous of each other and, well, he's getting too big. Let me pull him back down because I don't feel comfortable with me. Like, we got to get out of the mentality of like not being there for each other and not supporting each other. You feel me? Like, it's old, man. It can't always be us pulling each other back or not showing up. Like, it's time for us to like actually support each other. Then number 4, my beautiful queens. Hold up, before I get into number 4, we got to guess who this.
What's good?
What's good, fam?
Hey, night.
Is that the Rodner?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's happening, Chief? What's happening?
I'm here listening, taking some notes.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure if you got anything you want to sound off with, man, please, you know what I'm saying, feel free to jump in here. I'm only halfway through my little list, so
I got you.
I'm definitely open to hearing anybody else's perspective. But I was about to go into number 4 here, and this one might get me in trouble, but I got to keep it real on the queens here. Number 4, black women often lack the true empathy for black men necessary due to the real and perceived transgressions by black men over the years. So because a lot of times black women have been so hurt by black men, it's often now ingrained in them to see us more as competitors or see us more as signs of failure than to see us as true kings and people that they can latch their wagon to. Which is why you often see a lack of or men saying, you know, oh man, black women don't want to follow my lead. You know what I'm saying? It's often because even if you are a good leader now, it's often hard for a woman to see you as that because they've been burned so many times in the past. So now we are fighting not only against all of those other things that I said, we're now also fighting against the fact that we've kind of scorned a lot of our queens. So now it's like we're fighting that now they see us as a threat instead of as their true partner. You know what I mean? When you go back to slavery, where black men were often cuckolded and forced to allow the master to have sex with their women, you know what I'm saying? It basically began kind of a lineage of black women who haven't been able to feel fully safe with us. Then you get it reinforced, you know what I'm saying, again, during the crack epidemic when women were being used as sexual objects and and we were leaving them and kind of basically seeing them as nothing more than baby factories as opposed to, you know what I'm saying, our sisters in arms. And then despite all, you know, many black men now working to offset that, you still got a lot of women who have just reached a space where they just looking out for themselves. And you know, they don't feel safe. So I think this often leads to them reinforcing the pressures that we already face back from society. So now instead of seeing us as the partner, they do see us as the bag. They see us as some type of object of desire that is more used to complement whatever plan they already have going on, as opposed to something that's can truly be like a partner to what they got going on. I even saw this played out. You know, when you with the wife, you know, you find yourself watching reality shows and all kinds of things. So we was watching what is it, Marriage Boot Camp, and K Michelle was on there, and the way she was looking at her man on that show, she was kind of seeing like she was kind of basically in a place where she was like, I got my life planned out. I know how many kids I want. I know how I'm gonna get them. I know what bag I want. I know what I want to do with my career. I want this. I want that. And throughout all of that, you know, she was looking at the dude that she was there with as basically like, I just need you to play this particular piece to this. I don't want you to do anything. I don't care what you want. I don't care how that fits in. I ain't trying to compliment each other. I'm just trying to have you be there for what I need. And that really made me think, like, it's sad, but we have really digressed as kings to the point where we've got women that can even see us like that. And I think it's important that now we continue as men who are not of the fuckboy category, like that we really push to allow queens to see that like there are black men that they can feel safe with, that they can, you know what I'm saying, have respectable dialogue with, that they can build with, that they can build kingdoms with. And not all of us are like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I see the resurgence, but it's like we fighting against this wall of like resistance from like, yeah, I see you trying, but you know, I got burned back in 83. I don't know. So, you know, I mean, I think it's real important that we push against that. But because that exists, it leads a lot of men to feeling extra pressure because they're now having to overcompensate to try to break through that barrier. Or they can often feel like they're just not enough as a black man because the woman isn't necessarily seeing them as that true king.
Can I jump in real quick?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say for sure somebody who's definitely guilty of creating an atmosphere of like mistrust. Myself, you gotta, as men, we have to own up to that, and then moving forward, you're not just owning up and saying you're gonna do different, you're gonna do better. You have to actually do it, and it may be frustrating. The amount of time it takes, because when you discover something new, or when you get a new tool, you want to show everybody, you want to look, I'm doing better. But people got to see it, before the women have to see it over and over and over again before they actually believe it. So it may get frustrating, but if you created that atmosphere, if you contributed to it, and you don't really have a choice, you really gotta buckle down and basically show and prove.
Nah, that's big fact. And I think that's key, man. That integrity piece, man. Like, we talk about it a lot, but I think that's the biggest part. Like, we often make the mistake, but it's often hard for us to like go back and just say, look, I'm sorry, I'm atone for it, and then follow through on the atonement. So many relationships could be saved. So many friendships, partnerships, business relationships could be saved if people just would follow through on the atonement. Like, it's so many times you apologize and say, I'm not going to do it again. And then you go right back into the old pocket and repeat the mistake. And that's where that's where that scab that you can't get through builds up. That's where that scar tissue that becomes like a shield of armor builds up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the hard part about being where we're at. Is like, we need to continue to be strong on follow through and integrity. We got to. Excellent point. And then that leads me into number 5, man. And I think this is one of the hugest parts. It's often forgotten. But a lot of us are out here teaching ourselves to be men because a lot of us were not taught to be men by men. We were taught by our mothers, our grandparents, a lot of us were kind of picking up pieces of manhood from the men we saw around, but a lot of us didn't necessarily have that father figure that was constantly around that was able to guide us through those pivotal moments in our life where we were developing, who we are and developing our self-image and developing who we were going to be as adults. I know for me and most of my friends, man, like even the male friends that I've met now that are in different levels, and like I've met a lot of dope brothers over the years, and one of the most common themes is a lot of us either had limited access to a strong male role model over the course of our life, or we didn't have that. And when you have large swaths of men at that point being released on society who have no guide work, who have no framework, no reference points of which to build, the shiny shit starts to make their makeup. They start to look at, well, what's the best looking thing? What seems to be the most gratifying? It's just like, you know what I'm saying, if you have a kid in a grocery store and they can get anything they want, but they've never been taught about nutrition. They have no idea that you actually need carbs, proteins, vitamins, minerals. You actually need certain good fats. You need to have balance in your meals. You need a certain amount of each nutrient per day. If they've never been taught that, they're going to find the sweetest shit they can find because it's the thing that seems to feel the best. And you have a lot of us men who are out here who may have pieced it together somewhat, but we're constantly learning from ourselves. It's a lot of trial and error. And that leads to mental health, because when you have anybody set into a world by themselves without guidance, that is one of the highest stresses. It's the reason why one of the top stresses you can go through in just general life is making a move. It's the unknown. It's the constant pressure of, am I doing this right? And then the feeling of failure when you're not. And that's one of those burdens that we really need help with. We need to we need to start rallying around each other as black men. If you know something as a black man and you see me fucking up as one, we got to get more comfortable, for one, approaching each other and giving that feedback as black men. And then for two, the most important piece, accepting that feedback from each other. Because we got to get more comfortable with like teaching each other how to be men instead of being taught by ourselves. Because that echo chamber can be very loud and can be overwhelming and can lead to you repeating a lot of the same mistakes just because you don't know no better. And then last but not least, man, I think it's like the elephant in the room behind a lot of this. And I don't really like to get too political, you know what I mean? But we were targeted by supremacists, by media, by women, by ourselves. In America, I'd probably venture to say that black men are targeted by more groups of people than any other one group. Supremacists fear our power. They fear the fact that we are often the creators or progenitors of many of the most progressive and innovative things in our society. You got our women who now see us as objects or as sources of fear. You got other races who kind of target us as commodities or see us as monsters to be used for whatever their entertainment is. We view each other as haters or ops, and as people who are out to take something from us, as if one man's shine makes it so that you are dimmer, even though it's billions of stars in the sky. And we see all of them at night, but you know, how dare can how can, it got to be impossible for us to shine at the same time. Um, it's almost like there's never really a safe space to just be yourself. No matter where you're at, you're always being judged, targeted, looked at as like you always got to watch your back or like wonder, is me saying this going to put me in a position to be taken advantage of or something later by this person? And when you got to constantly be modifying and altering your personality to try to fit into each of these different boxes just to be cool about what's expected of you, like it's exhausting mentally and emotionally. And a lot of times I think that that's, kind of what leads to some of the other things. There's many more things that plague Black men in our mental health, but those are like the 6 things that I personally see. But yeah, it's definitely got to be something to it when you see Black men acting out the way I've seen lately, like murdering people, families, killing themselves, acting like women, overdosing, slapping people on stage. Like it's something that's causing this. And those are my 6 things that I see. What say ye, Rodner?
All right, so I'm go back a little bit. I agree with you that for me, my father leaving the home created that vacuum in which I had to embrace being a man, and those words are actually said, and not and repeated by maybe like an aunt or something like that. And it's a casual, oh, he the man in the house now. You hear, and we don't really think about words, especially when it comes to kids, because we don't look at it as we're ingraining something in them. And I'm to this day very protective of my mother, but that comes from that 5-6 year old kid who wanted to at every turn. And I also would say when it comes to worrying about names, people calling guys simps and all this other beta, alpha, all this stuff, you have to embrace your journey. You can't worry about what other people are saying, because at the end of the day, when you'll have some alone time, and you're going to have to deal with those things yourself, no matter what your issues are. Somebody calling you a name, and I'm not saying it's not hurtful. I'm not one of those people that believe that words don't hurt, because they do. But you have to build towards that, because it's easier said than done. If you grew up in a culture where name calling is a thing and it's designed to tear you for guys, we emasculate each other from the time we're little kids. Right. We're constantly, we used to call it hanging back in the days, hanging or ranking, we making fun of each other. Yeah, you making fun of each other, and you learn, and that becomes a defense mechanism. And then, but as you get older, and then you throw in that, puberty and testosterone, now what do you do with that energy? You know what I mean? When something happens, that energy is going to get dissipated on the closest thing to you. I'll also say be okay with crying. I'm an advocate, and you got to have a good cry.
Yeah.
Go do it. Even if you don't want to do it in front of people, go sit in your car, go, get a pillow, scream into whatever the case is.
That shit cleansing, man.
Yeah, you definitely find some things to blow off steam too, whether it's working out. If you're a gun advocate, go, let off some rounds, take a walk. I find, like, for me, this is going to be like a weird thing, but I've only seen like maybe like 3 sunrises in my life.
Oh, wow.
And as a youngster, I wouldn't tell you with your fellas, man, you be like, hey man, you know what I want to do, man? I want to go see the sunrise. And these little things like that, so I did that. I want to say the last couple of weeks I've done it twice. So
that's healthy, bro.
Yeah, seeing that, like little things like that could help you with your de-stressing. And also the last point to this, and then we, wherever the conversation it goes, but therapy or some coaching.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know at some point as men, we, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're strong, and you may feel like listening to somebody else tell you the business about what it is being a man, or things that can help correct some of the things that you want to correct, we tend to not want to look at another man and say, or woman, and say, I need help.
Right.
So if you give it a shot and follow through with it, it can lead you down a lonely path if you decide that you're going to take on the world by yourself with no help, and you're not going to tell anybody anything. You're not going to, if you and I having a conversation and you're a good friend of mine, man, listen, I got to be honest with you, that hurt my feelings. Like,
Yeah.
when is the last time, that you even see or hear that conversation? So you have to be able to talk to somebody, therapy, coaching, whatever you want to call it, or at least, like you said, get out of that echo chamber of, people just, because it is essentially a cesspool. Like, everybody is miserable in the same place. And I'm guilty of also receiving like bad life advice and direction from the older cats, and then passing it on to the generation below me.
Right.
So
we all are.
you gotta find a way to unpack that stuff.
Yeah. Why did I pass that piece up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to just figure out a way to unpack it, and definitely ask for help.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things I definitely want to do, I'm gonna do more of these. I think it's important that we continue to create spaces for Black men to actually have like safe conversations without the fear of judgment.
Right.
Like, and I think the more those spaces pop up, the more young people get to see like, oh, it's all right to do that. That doesn't mean that doesn't make me any less than. That doesn't mean that, oh, I'm a weak person now or anything. That just means then look at what they doing. Look at the OGs right there. They talking that shit out. Look at them. They disagreeing and ain't nobody arguing and about to snap off on each other. Like, I think it's really important that we start to like build these spaces for younger people to see how healthy movements as adults look. And that includes the mental health space, like seeing how it's okay to like talk about going to therapy and getting counseling and getting psychiatric help and doing whatever it takes to make sure that you hold on that end. It's okay to go like you said, man, go on a ride real quick and just get that crowd real quick. Stop holding that shit in before you blow up.
Right.
Because I think that's what leads to people getting the shit smacked out of them on stage and shit. Like, it's shit that's been boiling for years.
Yeah.
And then we explode, and then we get held to these horrible consequences because of those actions that we do in those moments. When if we had just dealt with those pieces one at a time as they came up, it doesn't boil over like that. It's a lot more manageable when you're just dealing with, all right, what's wrong with me today? Let me just fix that. Let me just work on that.
Right.
Now what's going to happen tomorrow? I can't deal with that yet. Now what happened yesterday, that's already done. What's happening today? Let me just deal with that. And then I'll deal with tomorrow. And if we break it down like that, I think we can get it, man. But I definitely want to do more of these spaces like this where we just able to get together as Black men and just kind of like just kick it, and whatever's going on for us as Black men on that day, like just get it out. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And I'd like to do this, like, even if it's like, hey, we got some political disagreement. Hey, man, I don't think this is what's best for our people, whatever. Like, I want to make this a space where like people can just have healthy dialogue, get shit out, vent, and breathe, man. Because it's really hurting me to keep seeing my brothers, like, and myself, shit. I had my mental break this past year. So, like, I just look at it like I'm just tired of seeing us, like, go through this shit. And before I keep watching it get worse, I'd rather be part of the change. You feel me, my dog?
Yeah. You want to, and you create that lane. If the lane ain't there, you create it.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. I ain't really figured out what the topic's gonna be yet, but I feel like I'm just gonna pull up. What's today? Sunday?
Yeah. Yep.
I need you as my accountability partner because my life gets hectic quick, and you know me. Mm-hmm. I'll schedule it, and then shit'll get crazy. But I need somebody to hold me accountable, like hold my feet to the fire, Rodney. So as my brother, I'm asking you, can you be that person for me on this?
absolutely. Now, coincidentally, I do have an accountability group that I'm a part of. It started off as a podcast accountability group, and then it just grew into something where we started to when you start setting goals with
man.
podcasting.
Yeah, man.
And then it went on to other things. So yeah, man, I'm all with that, man. It's definitely we can talk a little. I'll connect with you, but yeah, man, I'm for sure. I think I
need somebody to hold my feet to fire and whoop my ass if I don't show up, because I want to do this every Sunday at about 3:30.
Okay.
And just have it be like a weekly release for the bros. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could be in your ear, and I could definitely when I'm available, I hop up on. This is one of the weird times where I'm like, oh, I was about to go to the gym, to be honest with you, and then I saw you was going live. I'm like, oh, I'll go. Gym close in a couple hours. Let me just hop up here because I love this topic and I love what you guys are doing over here anyway. But you know I rock with y'all.
You already know you, fam.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you, man, and thank you for coming up today. I don't really, I don't like to ramble, so I ain't gonna just keep rolling. But I definitely let me see if anybody said anything in the chat. Right, can't be binary stars. Everybody has to be right. Absolutely, can't. It's okay to just be on your own shit, man, and not be looking to beef. I'd rather see more people collaborating. Like, when the crazy shit is, people don't realize it, but you can be successful collaborating too. Like, I love what I see, like that little all deaf squad that kind of support each other do. I love what I see, like what's the kid? Big Ja and Ken Edwin and that little circle of comedians do. Like, it's possible to not hate on each other and to just give support to each other and still be successful individually.
Yeah, for sure. And it don't have to. It could be about. Conversation ain't always gonna be positive, but it don't have to be about anything in particular, but just the fact that we able to converse with each other and be constructive. Whatever it is, don't mean it got to be a healthy debate. Can be spirited. That's not what we talking about. You can have that healthy, spirited conversation about politics or whatever, but it doesn't have to end in a battle royal where now you people are getting the audience having to pick which
sides and shit.
Yeah, where you gonna go and stuff like that. Because I like all of y'all. You know what I mean? So. I want to enjoy everybody.
Both sides can be right. Two things can be true. Both sides can make great points.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe we don't need to choose. Maybe we need to combine both sides' points and make one resolution. Like, you know what I mean? And shameless plug before I get out of here today and before we pull out. Episode 8 is out. And if you want to hear a good conversation, or if you want to just check the snippet when we talked about gun control, me and Face have a very spirited debate. But guess what? We still just talked to each other today and was giving each other love. Like, it's okay to debate. It's okay to disagree. That's the spirit of what human shit should be. Is we should all be individuals that can coexist. And that doesn't mean we all match. It just means we all coexist. Right. And I think that's beautiful, man. So we got to keep on highlighting more of those. So I'll be back next Sunday at about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And Rodner gonna pull up and you know what I'm saying, put pause on me if I don't. You feel me? He gonna hold me accountable on that. So we're gonna keep making these spaces for the Kings, man, to just build up our kingdom and like really get to a point where we can stop feeling all of these things that cause us to then be mentally unhealthy and cause us to act out in negative ways on ourselves and on the community around us. So yeah, man, thank you, Rodner, for being a healthy example of like what manhood should be out here, man. Thank you for joining me today in this conversation. Thank you to everybody that joined me in the chat. Defraud and Shardin's Peace King. Rodner, of course, Queen Joe, Queen Can't Hide, Black Anonymous, HM King, Anybody else I missed, man? You know what I'm saying? Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining me. Rodney, you got anything you want to say before we roll out, man?
Just tell everybody to be safe out here. You know, I'm just trying to be better today than I was yesterday.
Oh man, I like that one. That's big facts. Y'all put that in your pocket and take it with y'all. And if you're going through some shit and you don't know who to reach out to, or you know you just need that support and you can't find nobody in your own life, man, shoot your boy email or something, man, thepartnerspodcast@gmail.com. And I'll help you find something, man. Like, but don't suffer in silence. Love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me, man. See y'all in these YouTube streets. Peace out.